My name is Connie Lundy, and I am Director of International Programs and Services. Today we live in a global environment, and we can no longer be isolated in the way we think and feel about other cultures and other peoples. Study abroad is an excellent opportunity for students to be exposed to different ways of living, thinking, and communicating with individuals around the world. A study abroad experience is also going to be a plus when students graduate from Lincoln and get out into the world of work. Having an abroad experience on your resume is certainly going to make you a much more marketable student. Lincoln University has a multitude of study abroad experiences available to students. One of the most popular experiences that our students usually utilize is to do a study abroad program to gain greater knowledge or facility in a second language. We do promote second language acquisition, and to that end, a student who elects to study abroad for a language program will be immersed in a program where the language of that particular country will be spoken, and only that language. The second type of study abroad program that students at Lincoln participate in is a non-language program. In that capacity, they will stay or study abroad for either a summer, a semester, or an academic year, taking the courses that they would normally take as a student at Lincoln University. And our students can do these experiences a variety of ways. The most common way is to do it through what's called a study abroad provider. A student goes abroad, does the program, does the grades, and his progress or her progress is reported back to Lincoln University as credit that has been earned. The important thing to remember about study abroad here at Lincoln is that you can go anywhere in the world, but you must be enrolled in a credit-bearing situation. The other study abroad experience that our students participate in is what we will call an exchange program. In an exchange arrangement, the student from the host institution abroad will pay their institution's tuition, fees, room, and board. Our student at Lincoln University pays Lincoln's tuition, fees, room, and board, and then we just swap bodies. And the third study abroad situation that our students have participated in is what we call direct enrollment. That's where the student goes directly into the university abroad. The student in this instance does not go through a study abroad provider, and they're actually not paying Lincoln University's tuition, fees, room, and board. They're actually applying to that university as though they were an independent student, and they were looking at that school as a school of their choice. So they don't go through a provider. They apply directly to the admissions office of that institution. That's a little bit difficult for students because we like to promote the provider and the exchange experience, because as an exchange student or as a student studying under a study abroad provider, you will be able to receive services that are especially designed for you as an international student. So then our students would have counseling services, they would have academic advising services that have been developed expressly for the international student. As a Lincoln University student, you would be eligible to study abroad the summer after your freshman year. And our students study abroad all the way up to their senior year. A lot of students ask about paying for their study abroad experience. But Lincoln is an institution that allows any financial aid you receive, and that includes grants, loans, scholarships, to travel with you or to follow you abroad. In some instances, that might mean that you are paying less than it would cost you to be a student at Lincoln University, the same as it would cost you to be a student at Lincoln University, and in some instances a little more that you would be paying to be a student abroad. However, in those instances, there are a multitude of scholarship opportunities available, and I really would just like to highlight a few. The first one is the Lincoln University Global Study Scholarship, and that will give any study abroad student, providing that they have exhausted all of their loan eligibility, a $3,000 scholarship. That is a cap on that scholarship. The second scholarship is one that's sponsored by the United States State Department, and it's called the Benjamin Gilman Scholarship. The Benjamin Gilman Scholarship will fund a student up to $5,000 for a summer or a semester program. However, if they elect to take a critical language such as Chinese, Japanese, Arabic, or Korean, or Russian, they get an additional $3,000. The other wonderful thing about Gilman is that they have certain preference groups, and they're looking at minority students, they're looking at minority institutions, and they're also looking at students who elect to do a study abroad program outside of Western Europe, Australia, or New Zealand. And then we have a scholarship called the Global Scholar Scholarship, which is funded by the World Learning, and that comes out of Colorado. In that instance, a student can get up to $1,000 to be used toward his or her study abroad experience. So those are the scholarships that our students primarily use to go abroad. In order to study abroad at Lincoln University, there are three things that we're really looking at. The first one, of course, is your classification, and along with that comes your grade point average. We look at students who have a 2.7 or above. The other requirement that students must have if they want to consider studying abroad is a willingness to live and work and study in another culture. Those are the qualifications, plain and simple, for a study abroad experience at Lincoln. We would love to have you come to our office, which is the Office of International Programs and Services, and we're located in Lincoln Hall, room 105. There are student study abroad peer counselors, and of course myself, available to help you decide whether or not study abroad is an experience for you. But let me say this, as a student, you can actively participate in finding out more about study abroad by going onto the Lincoln website, which is www.lincoln.edu. Once you're there, please scroll down to the right side of the page. You will see Study Abroad. Click on the Study Abroad button and you will be at our home page. On our site, you will find out a lot of information about study abroad, the qualifications, the requirements, where our students go. But I think more importantly, you'll have a chance to see what students say and feel and think about their study abroad experience.